Hello everyone, it's Emily, and on this channel I am the vast majority of the time going to talk about vegetable gardening, but I figured, having a meadow in your front lawn is kind of a garden. So I wanted to share with y'all what we did. It is the easiest and most cost-effective way to start a meadow in your yard. But it's not for everybody. I understand that this method, might not be for everybody. But in this video, I'm going to explain to you that method, and I'm also going to explain to you how to improve your meadow as time goes on. And that said, whether you do it this method or you do it the usual way, which is digging up your lawn, turning it just to dirt, and then putting a whole bunch of seed of different meadow plants on it, you're still going to have to do some maintenance. Native vegetation is still going to show up because there will be seeds blowing around in the wind, and they're going to plant themselves in your yard. So if this isn't your cup of tea, what I'm showing you and what I'm about to explain, understand that if you spend money on wildflower and grass seed, a mix to create a meadow in your yard, you're still going to have to do some maintenance. All right, so what we did was to simply stop mowing. Yep, that's what we did. Now, I need to give a caveat there, and that is that we never put in lawn. We live in a rural area, and this was all bare after the building of our earth-sheltered house. We had the guy who buried our earth-sheltered house bring in topsoil to fill in. This was not as high as it is now, this ground. So we had him fill it in to be level with the footing of our earth-sheltered house. And it was totally bare. So we just decided we were just going to let grow whatever was going to grow natively. Now, we do have a mix of different native grasses in the area, but we also let native vegetation, what many people or most people would call weeds, also grow. And we've just been keeping it mowed. But now that our son is older and he's not needing to run around in the yard as much, I told my husband, why are you just keeping this mowed? Nobody, we're not playing golf out here, or, our son isn't running around and, needing all this space. So why not let it go natural? So we quit mowing it last year. We didn't buy any particular seeds. Now, I do have some wildflower seeds, and there's an area there that is mulched where I want to amend the soil so that when we have a long drought like we did last summer, the wildflowers wouldn't all just die. So that's why this is all mulch here, and there's some cardboard over there to get the soil a bit more loamy so it'll hold moisture better. Other than that, yeah, we quit mowing, and then we have two paths. Well, we have two paths mowed, all right? So they crisscross. So right here is the intersection, and there's a path going that way and a path going that way, so we can walk through and enjoy our little meadow. Quit mowing and see what grows. And then, what do you do after that? You maintain. You take out things you either don't want at all, maybe thistles come up, or we had something nasty that I didn't know the name of, so I called it the thorny purple weed because it had a thorn that if it pricked you, it felt like like a doctor sticking you with a needle, like for a shot or something. Not the easy prick of drawing blood, but like a serious, and it would last for like 10 minutes. You would feel an ache wherever you stuck yourself. But there's some evening primrose that has spread. There, an evening primrose spreads very easily once it gets started, and it's a very pretty thing to have in the early morning, and then late afternoon So evening primrose closes during the day and then opens back up when it's a bit darker. Our challenge right now is all the dock. Now the dock seed heads do give a nice texture, and when they turn red, a nice color. But as you can see, there is a lot of it. It's probably at least 3 times as much as we had last year, and I did pull some out last year. So the dock is going to begin to be weeded starting today because we want more of other things other than the dock. Here we have field peas. Field peas, the leaves add a nice different texture, and the mauve colored leaves, the violet leaves, are pretty. And peas also add nitrogen to the soil. These are about to bloom into yellow flowers here. Okay, on the flip side of removing what you don't want, you can add more of things you do want. A couple of years ago, there was no kind, I should say, there was none of this kind of flower. This one has a much bigger flower head there. I don't know the name of it. I'm calling it sunset. I've named it Sunset Burst because it's kind of pink-orange like a sunset. And I saw it on the track next door while walking along the road one day, and I said to myself, I want some of those growing in our yard. Why aren't those in our yard? Well, they're kind of slow to spread. But what I did was I paid attention, and when I noticed the flowers developing seed heads, I collected some seeds and I just sprinkled them around this area here. And there's one that I just noticed yesterday that's coming up. Let's see if I can zoom in. Where's that? Get it focused. Where is it? I've lost it in the... There it is. That one's just starting to come up. So, yeah. I threw that kind of flower seed around. So what you can do when you see some sort of plant or wildflower on the roadside, or maybe a neighbor's got it growing by their mailbox, you know, and you should ask permission if it's a neighbor, right? But let's see, look at this. The seed heads of this kind of grass looks really nice with the dew on it. It adds it's feathery and kind of almost, you know, a gray color contrasting with the green. Yeah, but just collect seed. You know, pop off flower heads that are going to seed that you see in the ditch when you're driving along. There is a blue flower, a kind of lavender color flower, up the more evening primrose here. But up on the mountain I saw, so I want to collect some seed from those and see if I can't get some of those growing. But there you go. If you want to grow a meadow instead of having a lawn. Now see, here's another thing that we need to take out, the horse nettle. Horse nettle is, I mean, the flowers are nice, but yeah, prickly lettuce, most of them go because they're not that attractive, and they will spread like crazy if you let them. But just quit mowing your lawn and see what comes up. The big pro of doing that is what comes up is going to be what is already adapted to your area. Yes, meadow seed packets are supposed to be adapted to your particular area, but it's generic. It's very generic. You know, there are lots of different kind of variations in soil, lots of different microclimates. So just because, you know, you see different wildflowers in a meadow packet and it says it'll do well in your particular area doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the proportion that you want. Not all they might not all do so hot. So when you let the native vegetation grow and then you encourage some plants while discouraging others, yes, that's a little more work, but in the end, it ends up, I think, being less work and, of course, a lot more cost effective. And having a meadow in your yard instead of lawn obviously is a lot nicer for the native wildlife, and I include insects in that. Much better habitat. All right. Well, if this video has given you any inspiration on creating a meadow in your yard, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to hear a lot about, this is, I think it's corn lettuce gone to seed here, mosh. But if you want a lot of vegetable gardening tips from a veteran gardener and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to this channel as well. I'll see you for the next video. In the meantime, happy gardening.